Hey guys, can't really see you from up here. My name's Justin Ross, and I'm with a company called Tervela. We're actually a Boston-based company, and I am new to the area here. And we are you could say we're a startup within a startup. And by that I mean we've been around for about 7 years. Our roots go back into messaging middleware. So we develop a data movement technology. And in the past, we helped Wall Street and financial institutions with high performance trading. So think of large volumes of data moving very quickly. So that's a little history of us as a company. And one of the reasons I came here, just to be honest with you, is I'm new to the area and looking for friends and some like-minded folks. We're a funded company. Our investors are Goldman Sachs and Sigma Partners. And the last couple of years we spent developing a technology called Cloud FastPath. Essentially, it is big data movement as a service. So think of moving large volumes of data very quickly between on-premise infrastructure and cloud-to-cloud infrastructure. Just a quick poll here. Does anybody not know what cloud computing is? With a raise of hands? Okay, cool. So I won't translate it like I do to my mother. So cool. Why we're really excited about the opportunity, and why there's just a ton of enthusiasm and support behind our backs, is because we're at the convergence and the intersection between big data and cloud computing, and there's just an explosion of services. There's a gentleman up here that was talking about his application being delivered as a service. So essentially that means that he manages and maintains that infrastructure, and users get to just log into the internet and a web browser and take advantage of that product. So there's infrastructure as a service. So Amazon is the most prominent supplier of infrastructure as a service. AWS, S3 may sound familiar. Rackspace, Google. There's a whole variety of options out there. So there's infrastructure as a service, there's platform as a service, and then there's software as a service. We enable all those companies to take advantage of the explosion of data. So somehow, on-premise and external data has to come into these services. We essentially provide that pipeline. So we're a big fat pipeline, and we're not doing anything novel, or we're not creating new data movement theory. But essentially what we are doing is providing an extremely fast, simple, and secure way of moving data. And some of those use cases are going to include analytics as a service, just onboarding data, which is a big challenge. And so onboarding data, think of Box, Dropbox, ShareFile, a lot of these file sharing systems that you might be familiar with. So think of us as the means to onboarding data into these systems. So we're talking about terabytes and petabytes of data. And it's a real challenge out there having to move this data from different locations into a cloud service. Most of the data actually resides on-premise in companies' on-premise data centers, infrastructure, and the future is with cloud computing, even though it's a small portion of where the data is stored. And we're at an incredible place right now, initially partnering right now with some of the major cloud service providers, as well as other service companies, such as file sharing, analytics as a service, predictive analytics as a service, anywhere that depends on external data. The options available are pretty limited. That's why it's very exciting for us. So there's ways of moving data. There's FTP, file transfer protocol. There's ETL tools. There's open source options. We develop an architecture and cloud-based solution that the performance, simplicity, and security is really unmatched, and we're really excited about that. The product goes GA later this month, so you can look for that. I actually wanted to show you a quick demo. This is B2B, so hopefully you guys can appreciate what we put into this technology. I'm not expecting any applause or cool responses, as maybe you guys did for the Explore demo earlier. So this is the SaaS right here. Moving data is actually really complicated, and moving tons of data very fast is even more difficult. So built into this is a lot of IP that we use for high performance trading. And you're looking at the SAS. On the right here, you're going to see different points of presence. So these represent data sources and or data targets. It could be a cloud, it could be Teradata, it could be on-premise, it could be NFS systems, file systems, and on the left here are data motion jobs. So it's typically really expensive and really cumbersome and time-consuming to move large volumes of data between infrastructure. So this is what we created. At the bottom here, you can track the activity, and these are the jobs here. A job essentially means moving data from one source to one target or multiple targets. It can do real-time data movement as well as batch, micro-batch, and real-time streaming. Some of the secret sauce for our technology, which is unique to the market, is no data actually moves into the application. And all other data movement tools, the data has to move into a staging area before moving into the target. And for considerations for performance and security, that adds a lot of latency and complexity, which isn't necessary and is incongruent when you're dealing with big data and real-time use cases. Some of the other special sauces, we have compression at the source, so we're able to move large amounts of data through the pipeline. Typical bottleneck for moving data is going to be the network and the bandwidth. We're able to optimize the WAN and TCP, as well as compress the data at the source. So we're able to essentially fit as much data through the piping as possible. And so that's it. This is a SAS here. Love to talk with anybody after the event if they have particular use cases or they're involved with projects that include moving large volumes of data. So that's it. And in the spirit of giving free stuff away, I'm going to give free software to everyone here in the crowd.